Alrighty, so I actually took the second half of the week last week off. Originally, my plan was to have the week before last week entirely off as a little mini vacation, but because of the logo design and all of the trademark stuff that I was trying to get complete, I ended up kind of cutting it a little short and working like half of that week, the latter half of the week. So I kind of just split it up and took the rest of the week, um, this last week off. I did get some, uh, if not most of the stuff that I wanted to get done last week, done today. One of the biggest problems was the armor screen, trying to get that scrolling properly and having everything working out, and showing the correct sets when you actually have them. So that's all working now. And I also switched the weapon screen to be working similarly. At the very least, it scrolls. Um, so I just wanted to make a quick video to show that and then give some uh, ideas where I'm going after that. So these are all armor pieces. I can show off the weapons first. I have them all hard-coded right now to just be displaying a vast majority of them when you go into your weapon screen. Uh, Obviously, it looks absolutely terrible because there's a bright green background on it, but it has a bunch of different weapons in here. I'm gonna have to do some tweaks to get things fitting properly, like the woodcutter's axe here doesn't fit properly. So some of the text is gonna have to change. I'd like the buttons to be fitting more properly. These are barely showing, and that looks weird. So I'm gonna have to fix some of the spacing and some of the text to make it fit more properly. And then I also changed the way this looks a little bit. There was a bit of room trying to get all of this over here, so I decided I'm going to put a little picture over here of like a better picture. So these are just going to be kind of icons that like show quickly what type of weapon it is. So like the axes are going to have a generic axe icon. They're going to be very bland and plain icons, so it's just super clear which type of weapon it is over here on the buttons. And then over here it'll actually show exactly what weapon it is, what it's going to look like while you're wearing it. And then the item name, and then everything else that was already there. And then just kind of tighten some of the stuff up. But as you can see over here, I added the scrolling and a mask, which was, I don't know why it took me so long to realize that I could use masks, but um, just to mask anything that's not currently showing. There's some minor issues with the scrolling. I'm gonna have to do some math to make it so that these work properly. I don't think my brain was quite working properly when I was trying to get the math working on how long you can scroll based on how many items you have. But it's essentially working, and that's what I wanted to be doing right now. So there's gonna be tweaks later, but that's gonna be probably a much further down the line thing, because it's going to depend on icon size, like the images, everything that I'm going to have. Another big problem that I was kind of worried about was, like, this is 300 weapons, and there's like 20-ish more than that. So trying to scroll through all these takes a long time, but I realized that like playing other games like this, I personally hoard items, so I do usually have a very large list of items in my inventory. And every time that I've ever had that, I've never thought, wow, this is such a stupid game design. I've always thought, wow, I have way too much stuff in my inventory. So I think the easiest solution to this is, if people hate having to scroll through everything, I'm just going to have a storage option in towns, like a global storage, so you can just go to your storage chest and put stuff that you don't normally use. Um, so I think this is functional for now. As before, you can just click on these, get all the stats. I need to input all the item names into weapons and I think armor too, and then update that stuff. And then equipping is working too. It just doesn't do anything at the moment, visually or even I think in terms of actions. But so the weapon screen is working. The armor screen is very similar. It's kind of how it was when you pick up one of these. These are all item or armor pieces. Shows the set that you picked up, and then the item that you actually got is clickable. The other ones aren't until you actually get them. Um, So I'm gonna have the same thing. This one has the item name, picture, all the same stuff. Same general layout, it just has the sets like I had before. My girlfriend pointed out a very obvious problem that I will show right here. So the way I had it is that, and there's a minor bug that I need to fix, but I wanted to have it so that the buttons are laid out in each set in the same order. So it's like head, shoulders, chest, arms, blah blah blah, and it's the same layout with the buttons on each set piece or set group. God, can't talk. But I also wanted to obscure the lettering and then have them kind of like, whenever you pick up an item for the first time, it would pop up a screen here and you'd see like the letters change over time to whatever it actually is. And I still want to try and figure out a way to do that, but she pointed out, like, obviously this one right here is going to be the hand because I have this, so I know this is going to be hand. That one's going to be chest, so yeah, it can't be done right here. That was kind of dumb of me. So I'll have to figure out some other way to do that. But same general idea, and then once you've picked up all the sets, or as many as you get, you can scroll through the list, and it's now populating correctly and not leaving any gaps. It shows only the sets that you picked up, and only the items that you have available in each set. So you can equip them. That also doesn't do anything at the moment. So right now I feel really comfortable with how these are working. I think they're completely functional in terms of what I need them to be doing at this stage. So I'm going to leave them as is. I'm probably going to even wait on some of stuff like this, the item names. Or I don't know, I might get too bothered by that and work on that this week. But for all intents and purposes, I think this is working as good as I need it to work right now. So my next plan and what I started working on a little bit today is animation. I have an idea of how I want the animation to work for the player. I'm not too confident on how the idea is going to actually play out. I think it's going to be a lot more work than it should be, and there's probably a better way to do it. So I'm going to have to think about it. I'm going to try what I have in mind and see if it works, but if it doesn't, then I might just look for another option. Um, the main reason I'm even going ahead with something that I think might not work is that I really want to have the armor displayed on the character, so I kind of like sort of need a 3D model. So I'm gonna have like a 3D-ish model that moves around, and then have like armor kind of pieced on top of them. So I have like a body that's just a very generic pixely kind of looking body, and then have like spheres and cylinders over each piece so that I can put skins over them essentially that would kind of make up the armor. That's the idea. Again, I don't think it's going to work that great, but we'll see, I guess. Um, I have good hope. I have good hopes that it's going to look nice, but it's unlikely. if I'm being totally honest, it's pretty unlikely. Um, that said, I'm going to work on that this week. So at the end of the week, if it's not working at the end of the week, then I'm going to look into something else and try a different solution. But yeah, that's where we're at this week. I'm going to be working all normal hours this week and trying another video on Friday. All right.